say some days you're gonna win. They say some days you're gonna lose. I tell you, I got news for you. You're losing all the time, you never win. No. If you believe that's how it's gonna be, I better put you down. Get up, you take your look, and come down on the ground. You gotta save me now. You better turn around. And I looked around. I was heading down. Oh, somebody throw me down the line.
There you are. 9:05. It's a Tuesday morning. The 10th day of June does fall on at RiverBender.com, Roku TV, our daily show. Thanks for hanging out with me. I got to start off with some exciting news. So, not a lot of people know this. I could not smell for the longest time. Like pungent odors, would go to my nose and I could smell those. Or like if it was an overwhelming scent. That's why I always feel like I wore too much cologne because I just couldn't smell myself. Well, then all of a sudden today, okay? Like seriously, fast forward a year. Move back a year. Move forward a year to June the 10th, okay? Walking outside of the Max convenience store, walking back into the building, and I said, it smells like Alton. Not in an insult way, but it's like, it smells like Alton down here. And then I realized my sense of smell is back. How incredible is this? Ever since cut, it's the most amazing thing. Hey, St. Louis Water Garden Society joins us today on the show in just a couple of minutes' time. Really excited to learn more about Pond-O-Rama this year, and then more conversations coming down the pipeline. We got a busy day. I'll be over at the North Alton Godfrey Business Council meeting and going to be issuing some challenges to some folks because we got to keep selling community Christmas tickets. Christmas in July, win $3,500, $10 a ticket. Reach out if you want some today. We'll take you to top of the hour news now. Here's what you need to know. On this 10th day of June, Jerry's Cafeteria, a beloved Granite City institution for over 40 years, has reopened right there after closing last October to focus on catering. It's located at 1920 Edison Avenue. The cafeteria now operates Monday through Thursday from 11 a.m. until 2:30 p.m. and then on Fridays until 5 p.m. Owner John Roderick and General Manager Mickey Loftus adapted to rising costs by scaling back staff and menu while maintaining signature dishes like the Hungarian goulash and chicken and dumplings. New items such as the barbecue pork steak are also being introduced. Catering and weekend event space rentals continue as Jerry's works to regain its footing with community support. That full article on RiverBender.com/news. Godfrey Park visitors will soon see more no smoking signs as concerns grow over children's exposure to secondhand smoke near playgrounds. Here's what we know on this. Local physician Katie Shearer highlighted the rising cases of asthma and respiratory issues among children, emphasizing the dangers of both cigarette and vape smoke. Discussions at the recent Public Safety Committee meeting included the possibility of designating smoking huts placed away from play areas, though it remains uncertain if smokers will use them given their proximity to children. Trustees and park and recreation officials agreed on the importance of clear signage to ensure smoke-free environments and in and around the playgrounds and splash pads. We'll talk about this with Sydney tomorrow, but Thursday nights in downtown Alton, this is what she had to say about night market. Have become a place this summer, and last week was no exception. Here's her take on it. They enjoyed dining at Mac's new beer garden space on 3rd to exploring the night market in Sugar Alley. It comes down the pipeline again this Thursday night. The Jacoby's Art Center's new State Street Studios offered a stunning setting for craft classes, adding to that creative buzz. Plus, local vendors showcase unique handmade jewelry, art, and apparel, captivating visitors and fueling that community spirit. Plus, Hookie was the first band at night market this year, and they were playing for familiar faces around downtown Alton, and they were offering a welcoming and inspiring atmosphere that keeps drawing people back every week. That was a portion of Sydney Sinks' blog. You guys liked it so much it made the trending top 5 section and made it to top of the hour news, but really just a nice showcase on really some of the positivity in downtown Alton. We'll talk with her about that tomorrow. The Summer Volleyball League in Alton is now underway for its 9th consecutive year, offering boys and girls entering 4th through 12th grades an engaging way to play volleyball throughout the summer. Starting in June and continuing through July, the league has registered 162 participants from numerous local schools, ranging from elementary to high school levels. Sponsored by Phil Hamilton, the program emphasizes fun, skill development, and cross-training with older players and mentoring younger ones, too. The league features round-robin tournaments and encourages community involvement, including service hours for high school helpers. It remains a cost-effective, flexible option that fosters a love for volleyball and promotes player growth in a safe, supportive environment. Back here to local governmental news, the Alton Committee of the Whole did approve a resolution 5-2 to replace the expiring state grocery sales tax with a locally collected 1% grocery sales tax. Here's what we know. This move aims to offset an estimated $400,000 of annual revenue loss when the state tax expires in 2026. The Illinois General Assembly allows municipalities to impose this local tax without increasing grocery prices as it replaces the existing state tax. Some aldermen expressed interest in taxing other items, but sales tax on liquor and tobacco remains separate. The resolution now heads to the Alton City Council for final approval on June the 11th, but the Alton Committee of the Whole did vote 5-2, with Alderman Bone and Alderman Veloff voting no in that count. We'll keep you updated as we go into council tomorrow. The Collinsville Police Department is actively searching for Michael Pinson, who currently has an active felony warrant for aggravated unlawful use of a weapon. As part of their ongoing efforts to apprehend fugitives, authorities released his information just a few days ago, on the 6th of June. The department urges anyone with knowledge of his location to contact them at 618-344-2131, extension 5209. And then finally in the news today, 2 Granite City residents face serious felony battery charges following separate incidents earlier this month. Here's what we know. Skyla M. Sumro, 18, is charged with 2 counts of aggravated battery after allegedly striking a victim with a glass bottle, causing a head injury requiring stitches. Sumro reportedly admitted to the attack, citing a financial dispute, and was under an active protective order at that time. In a different case, Darian Crisp, 25 years of age, faces aggravated domestic battery and domestic battery after allegedly strangling and assaulting a family member. Both individuals have been detained and all parties presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. That's a look at what's happening around the Riverbend in this 9 o'clock hour. Let's take a look at weather. 70 degrees. It feels like 76 today out there. Hazy sun. That smoke from the wildfires in Canada can create reduced air quality conditions. Be mindful of that tonight. One note for you, and that's just clear. Air quality right now overall is moderate at 70. Grass levels are moderate too. Mold counts are low, ragweed levels are moderate, tree levels are moderate. It's time for a Claritin. Hey, temperatures reach 80 degrees today, drop down to 58 overnight as we head into Wednesday. On Wednesday, the 11th of June, a high of 88, a low of 65 degrees. And then on Thursday, a high of 87, a low of 66. And on Friday, thunderstorms back into the area, a high of 83, a low of 68 degrees. They're predicting thunderstorms all throughout the day. And on Saturday, those thunderstorms continue, a high of 85 on Saturday, a low of 67. And then on Saturday, thunderstorms again throughout the day. However, they're saying Saturday night could clear up as we head into Sunday. That's a look at the next 5. Here's what's happening now, my friends. It's 9:12 in the heart of the 618, 70 degrees. It feels like 76 out there. For time and temperature throughout the day, 618-465-4545. This time powered by Bounce Back, Rehab, Recover, Return Home. You can also stay up to date in real time all the time by, just downloading the RiverBender.com app. I tell you that every day. It's in the App Store and Google Play, and man, really just a nice addition to everything we got cooking. While I have you, it's summer. It's going to be, what did I just say? 80 degrees today. Tomorrow it's going to be 90. Thursday it's going to be 90 and humid. What better place to go than to Raging Rivers. I mean, think about this. I mean, it's really a no-brainer. 36 seasons of Raging Rivers, 1990 to 2025, and I'm telling you, you only got 2 days left to save on your season passes. Season passes right now, just that regular season pass, unlimited visits, plus family nights, exclusive offers, free parking, only $70, $69.99, plus you can upgrade today. Platinum pass is available for just $80, and this is what's really great. Unlimited visits during the whole season, just like the season pass, but you get one bring a friend ticket, family nights, early entry Wednesdays, exclusive offers, 10% off food and retail, free parking, so much more. All you got to do is go to RiverBender.com. That's RiverBender.com. Don't forget to tell them that you know who sent you over their way. Alrighty, we're going to take a break. Take a look at downtown Alton. We'll come back with Pond-O-Rama next.
Throughout all life stages, you need someone in your corner, guiding you on your health and wellness journey. At OSF Healthcare, that's your primary care provider. Your OSF primary care provider is there for every stage of life. Find a provider today at osfhealthcare.org/primary.
Carden Circus is coming to town. It's fun for the whole family. Don't miss out. Get ready for breathtaking aerial stunts and a heart-pounding thrill ride that will have you on the edge of your seat. 2 nights only. See the magic in Jerseyville on May 27th and Highland on May 29th. Bring the whole family and experience the wonder of Carden Circus. Get your tickets now at glowcircus.com.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone, and over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car, I have a job, there's nothing holding me back anymore.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
I keep on thinking about you, sister, golden hair surprise, and I just can't live without you. Can't you see it in my eyes? Now I've been one more correspondent.
Welcome back. 9:17, a little bit of change on this 10th day of June. Back with Don, Jenny, St. Louis Water Garden Society. 25th Annual Pond-O-Rama. This is already coming up right around the corner. We are 11 days away.
We are.
No pressure.
No pressure.
We're all a little stressed, I might add.
Well, and this time around the horn, this is a big milestone. This is 25 years, and I got to imagine everyone's pretty excited about this one.
It is. This is a wonderful, wonderful one, and it's our anniversary, so that's pretty cool.
Well, and Jenny, take me through the buildup of this year, too.
Well, this year, since it's our 25th anniversary, we're actually 35 years with the society. And so we kind of focused this year, our booklet kind of shows the lilies. And so we wanted to focus on our jewel box, which is our civic project, which is what this tour actually does, is support that jewel box at Forest Park with all those beautiful lily ponds that we have. Guys work there every Saturday morning.
Is it really every Saturday, too?
Every Saturday
Wow.
at 9 o'clock in the morning. We're always looking for strong, muscular guys and gals to help.
Well, how do we volunteer?
Oh, just come on down.
Oh, there you go. Well, and what I think is really cool, too, is that, this booklet is, you guys have always had really nice brochures and booklets on this, but I really like the additions, too, of, like subscription offers and things like that for your attendees as well. Like this one. St. Louis Homes, $12 for a year. I'll take that and run with it. You know what I'm saying? Well, and as you're preparing the shirt, Don, how does the group kind of manage, getting everybody together and making sure we're all firing on the same cylinders?
Well, several ways. First, there's monthly meetings for the entire society. And by the way, another special in that booklet is free membership for a year to the St. Louis Water Garden Society. And each month we have meetings to talk about and coordinate these issues, as well as having excellent speakers come in with professional expertise to help educate us. Right. So it's really multidimensional for people of a variety of interest. Not only the koi fish and lilies and ponds and water gardens in general, but people that enjoy just gardening. And for me, that's how I got into this, is because I'm a native gardener and I needed to add water features to help spur that connection with wildlife and all of that. Oh. So each of us bring our own little interest and expertise to this, and then through the committee, the Pond-O-Rama committee, which Ginny heads, it's a really almost a many month project to get everybody updated and coordinated and just organize the whole experience.
Well, and I think that's such a good note too to make, because sometimes I think, especially if it's someone like me that gets in my own head about what I'm eating for breakfast, you might see an organization like this and want to be a part of it, but you're like, man, I don't know if I'm ready to join the big guys yet. And what I think is really cool is you make it a point where it really is about learning together and really coming together just for the love of gardening. And I think that's really important for everybody to know. How do we join the society?
Well, it's if you're a member on the tour, you're automatically you get a free membership as part of that, and it has information and the website in there as to where those meetings are and when they are every month. And you can also sign up to get notifications from the St. Louis Water Garden Society, even if you're not a member, to just be aware of the activities that are going on.
Yeah, we have a lot of members that don't even have water gardens and ponds, but they like, it's a learning thing. And, it's also a community event. Yeah. And so this year, our tour is really special. We have 29 water gardens, if you can believe that.
That's incredible, actually.
Over the metro area. And so there's because we split it up by Saturday and Sunday, the ticket booklet is good for both days. We have 14 water gardens on Saturday and 15 on Sunday. And they're all over the metro area. We actually have one in Illinois.
Do you? Where at?
We do in Millstadt, Illinois.
Oh, that's a nice spot.
Lovely, lovely pond. But, they're all over the metro area. And, it appeals to everybody because we have people that are very small gardens and teeny tiny ones. And then we have some that are just magnificent.
Well, and now what stop on the tour are you?
I'll be on Sunday.
Are you Sunday? Okay, I got to take a quick peek here. I'm just being a little nosy.
Gosh, there you go.
Being a little nosy here. Oh, wow. Are you stop D?
I am. I can't remember, I'll tell you.
Or is it H? I think it's H.
I will tell you here in just a second. Yes, I am H.
Okay, I'm already kind of getting jealous of you here, Don.
Well, and that's the fascinating thing for people that maybe are thinking about, might want to have a little water in my garden to attract wildlife or just enjoy the pleasant sound. because we're surrounded by all these sounds, and the gentle sound of that water just masks everything and is very, very tranquil. So you're going to see water gardens for people that have made totally on their own, which just astounds me because it's a really quite an interesting experience. Small ones, huge ones, professionally done, self-designed, the entire spectrum. Some with incredible things, like there's a gentleman that has an outdoor train set, model train set.
Oh, we've talked about that, yeah.
Which is just absolutely astounding. Huge waterfalls, everything you can imagine. So for anyone from just the do-it-yourself person to the I want to see something really spectacular, it covers the entire gamut.
Well, and it's a lot of inspiration too, just to go around and see and ask questions, especially if you're trying to do something maybe on your own for the first time. I'd rather ask somebody that's tried and experienced something first than to Google it, any day of the week.
And this year is really, really special. Both Don and I are on the tour this year. I'm on Saturday.
Oh, I got your spot right here. I haven't forgotten about you, Jenny. You're number 13 on the stop.
I am lucky number 13. But yes, and my garden will be ready by then for sure. But one of the things that we did last year, and we did it again this year, is we put pictures of the gardens. It doesn't, I don't think any of the pictures do any of the gardens justice, because you just can't take in that whole landscape. But the other thing we did is we added, with the permission of the homeowner, email addresses. And the reason we did that is there's so many people that have questions. Yeah. And, when you have hundreds of people coming into your garden, sometimes, it's a lot of people at the same time. You're trying to answer all the questions. They have questions about your plants, your fish, your, everything there is to answer. We thought it would be a great idea for people to then go back and email them and say, hey, I didn't get a chance to talk to you, but what beautiful flower was this? And a lot of people take pictures, which is great. So I think, and it tells you if it's a walking accessible, wheelchair accessible, if it's an incline. So we're telling everybody what they kind of need to know before they
get there.
They join,
yeah.
And you can't always see all 14 or 15 in a day, but you can see some that just kind of appeal to you.
Well, and that's really a good thing too, where you guys laid it out so well that you don't have to follow it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can really go where it fits whatever's best for your schedule too.
Absolutely.
This is really cool. And now, whenever you guys are looking for entries and you're looking for entrance into the Pond-O-Rama tour, what are some of the qualifying factors? Is there a rubric that you have?
Oh yes, you have to. well, the only rule book really is that you have to be a member.
Okay.
And if they're not a member, they can join a lot of our contractors who have built a pond over the winter. And, of course, they're spectacular. They often give those people free membership to the society, which is $25. Yeah. It's a great deal. And then, they can be on the tour. And then, of course, we're always sending out, Donald's my co-chair this year, so we're sending out emails all the time, keeping our host, active and up to date on all the things that we're doing.
Well, and really, it should be a fun day. It is, like you said, there's a lot of people and there's a lot of questions being asked. But for being a homeowner and saying, I get to showcase this off and people want to come and see my spot, that's got to be a really cool feeling, too.
Absolutely. And you put in so much work to it, and you want to share that and share that enthusiasm. And I think that's the hallmark of all these pond owners, that they have something special that they've created, and we want to be able to share that with everyone else and perhaps inspire them to do something new and interesting in their garden, because we all need a little private time and relaxation time.
Well, and Don, you were saying that you already had your garden going and set. You were just trying to get the connection going a little bit quicker with the addition of water. What were the learning curves that you had when you're putting in your water feature?
Oh my gosh. Well, let's begin with that. My garden has gone through multiple evolutions, and finally I've recognized that because I want a low maintenance environment, but I want a natural, relaxing environment. Yeah. I began to move towards native landscapes. And one of the key concerns there then is you begin to think about wildlife, about it being in the environment itself. And it was after I began my native garden that I discovered the St. Louis Water Garden Society, took their tour some years ago, was absolutely just overwhelmed by this opportunity, and recognized that water really ties my entire garden together, and it actually ties it into my house. It's surrounding my patio and all of this, so it became the centerpiece and the anchor for the entire thing. So it was definitely a learning curve. It's something new and different, but like so many things these days, technology and everything is making it much, much, much simpler. So working, in my case, I had to work with some professionals because of some specific design issues. But then you begin to understand, oh, I don't have to have all these difficult filters and other things. We actually, in mine and many of the other areas, we're using what's called a bog filter, where you allow nature to clear the sediments and the difficult balance that it requires. So you're balancing plants and fish in a natural way. Not using chemicals for doing this.
I love it. And we were talking about the bog filter, I remember last year or the year, and it's really, I think that's so cool that you're saying that, because I would love the natural aspect of any water feature to really make it look like, we're just kind of out in the woods almost, and it would be no different than if we just stumbled upon, a pond or a lake somewhere, or a creek bed somewhere. And when you're talking about chemicals and doing things the right way, I think that's where people, especially like me, I get a little nervous when I'm talking about filtration systems, and I'm like, this is getting ready to start to be a refinance job, but whenever I'm able to talk to you, it's not as scary. It's going, okay, this is actually obtainable. This is doable, and we can get this done effectively too.
Right. And I think people, especially because we have so many, there are people that just don't have the space in their backyard.
True.
And so, a very small pond is just a delight for them. And so they have a few fish, but they landscape it so beautifully. And it's their peacefulness, their tranquility of being there. And so I think it doesn't, I don't have a lot of time to do a lot of maintenance. But if you do it right, like Don said, you can add plants, you can add fish. It takes care of the clarity of the water. Maybe you clean it out once or twice a year, give or take, and you're good to go. And so you're not spending day in and day out. You're spending the time to really enjoy the beauty that you have. And we want other people to enjoy it too. And I think this tour gives people the opportunity to really learn about plants. Every one of us have different plants in our yard, and some that we really don't want in the yard, but they came anyway, thanks to the birds and all of the wildlife, But everybody has different plants. They have different fish. They have different designs, and everybody is just excited to meet the people that come. I think our gardeners are absolutely the best people in the world.
Well, and it's so important. I just love that too, because going back to what you said, you can really get creative with your ponds and your water features. And I think for some, like if you're in a city environment or more of an urban environment, you can still design something that really brings out the home in your house, you know?
Yeah. And if you have a big space, like one of the guys that's on tour, he actually built a Mayan temple. And so he's got the huge big water guys, and they're all spitting water into a big pond. And I mean, it's huge. Of course, you walk up a big hill. He's got huge landscape and beautiful flowers and tons of water lilies, and it's huge. And then you've got others that are swimming ponds.
Yeah.
You can swim with the fish if you want to, and I think they've even allowed a few of the guests to do that on occasion.
Well, there you go. That's how you win.
Because usually it's very hot. But, it's really a great tour. And I think you just learn so much from everybody. We're always learning. That's the thing.
Well, and too, it's so cool to know that this is all in St. Louis. So many times and we've talked about this before, where you drive around, especially, when you're in the city, you go, man, there's not a lot of green here. And you all of a sudden you take this tour and realize that there's just hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of other homes just similar to this that also have maybe not water features, but just a beautiful, breathtaking backyard, and we can do it too. Yeah,
and we have people that are actually coming from all over the country. Like, people are calling us from Texas and from Iowa. And somebody from Arizona called me the other day and wanted to come in, and bring her mother. And I thought, how cool is that?
That is awesome. Does that happen very often for you? Does that happen quite a bit?
Every year we have people from all over this country, that come in. And sometimes, water gardens bring their the groups to come as well. So, I mean, it's... I can't say enough about it. It is a labor of love. And,
I'd say so.
but we have some of the best members that really do support this tour. And, the Jewel Box is our big civic project. So that's really a cool thing, too.
Absolutely. You guys got a moment to take a break with me?
Sure.
I'm going to pay a quick bill. $9.35, a little bit of change. We'll come back, chat a little bit more about Pond-O-Rama. You stay there. I'll stay here on RiverBender.com and Roku TV.
Oh no, another bad headache? Yeah, maybe it's time to see your doctor.
OSF Healthcare can handle all of your family's primary care needs, including diagnosing health issues or referring you to a specialist. Schedule an appointment today.
For the biggest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in the Riverbend, visit AltonToyota.com or stop by their location on the Homer Adams Parkway in Alton. Winner of the prestigious President's Award, Munganast Burkhardt Alton Toyota knows how to treat their customers, and they will help you find the vehicle that is perfect for you. For years, Munganast Toyota has been a fixture in the Riverbend, and now Munganast Burkhardt carries the tradition. New name, but the same great service you've come to expect.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but I could have been an electrician. Or I could have been a nurse.
Maybe not.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today. You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Throughout all life stages, you need someone in your corner, guiding you on your health and wellness journey. At OSF Healthcare, that's your primary care provider. Your OSF.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone. And over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car, I have a job, there's nothing holding me back anymore.
You need to declutter your space.
That was my fault. Welcome back, 9:37. A little bit of change. Back with Don, Jenny, and the St. Louis Water Garden Society. Coming up in 11 days. Pond-O-Rama, the 25th edition. Are you ready for 25 more?
Oh, well.
1 year at a time.
Just like a good AA class, you know?
One
day at a time.
Well, and if you're getting back into this, it's a two-day tickets, $25 for the two-day event.
Exactly.
And really, also inside of it, I mean, you're saving big, too. I mean, there's discounts and coupons in here that really make it such an incentive just to purchase the book, even if you aren't going, you know?
Exactly. We have great advertisers in there as well, and they really support us and have been supporting us for years, as well as all of our ticket sellers. And, you can get tickets at any of our 20 plus locations all over the metro area.
Oh, wow.
And,
I'd say so.
Yeah, they're all over, west, north, east, south, and everywhere.
Anyone need a sales job in this room? Wow, this is incredible. But when you go through this, and this is what I think so unique, is that no matter if you have multiple nurseries a part of this, multiple,
Right.
lawn and garden stores, but also you have just folks that are in the same industry that are saying, let's come together and support this together, which I think is really cool.
Exactly.
How many sponsors do you have? Or
20 plus, 28 or 29, and I think we have 20 plus locations.
Teach me your
for
secrets.
Ticket sellers, and they can purchase tickets at the retail locations, which are great. They're all over, so you can't hardly miss it. Or they can go online. Actually, we will cut it off like next week because we want to make sure people get those tickets on time. But otherwise, it's really, the book is like one of the playbills.
It really is,
yeah.
Well, and too in Illinois, in the Metro East, for us, whether or not, if you're in the Alton Godfrey area, I direct you to go to Joe's Market Basket. In Edwardsville, in the Glen Carbon area, you got Hostas on the Bluff and Effinger Garden Center in Belleville, along with Sandy's Back Porch. And then you got Creekside Gardens in Collinsville, too, so multiple spots around the Metro East to go.
Oh, definitely.
And Ginny, correct me if I'm wrong, but all of these are listed on the St. Louis Water Garden Society website?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Under the events section?
Under Pond-O-Rama, and all good.
I remember the website off the top of my head. How about that? We'll take you right there now.
slwgs.org.
Yes,
you got it.
Look at that. And you can look at this. How about this big button that says become a member? You can just click on that before you even get started into the pond tour. Or you could just get your tickets and become a member for a year,
Absolutely.
too. I love the incentive about this.
And speaking of that directly, if you are already a member and have paid for membership, you
get a free member.
You
get a free ticket booklet.
Yeah, so it's
give or take. So if you get one, you get the other.
Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's a win-win.
It really is.
$25 membership and $25 you get a free ticket book.
Well, and also too, you guys, do you guys have any seminars coming up or anything after Pond-O-Rama?
Oh, absolutely. Every month we have a meeting on the third Tuesday of the month, and this year we had to move from our Kirkwood Community Center to Grace Episcopal Church, which is a nice facility right there in Kirkwood. Actually, this coming Tuesday on the 17th, we actually have a gentleman coming to speak about wildlife solutions in your garden.
That might be one to tie in, Jenny.
That is a perfect tie-in.
Well, because we talked, didn't last year you had the same issue?
I did, but
man.
I have an environment. When you live near the woods, you have a wonderful water feature, so it brings in all of nature. The deer, the fox, and now the mink.
Yep.
And that's unfortunate because evidently I have caged and netted my pond all winter long to save my beautiful fish that were quite large, and 35 of them to be exact. And I guess I waited until the absolute last day that I could, early May, which should be warm and the fish are happy.
Yeah.
And mink actually had a feast.
Oh, no.
Of all 35. So I was really
That's
sad.
heartbreaking. That really is heartbreaking.
It is Well, I don't want to see them slaughtered, for one thing.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I don't want to see. But the other thing is that, it's an environment. So we're having a gentleman come next week to talk about solutions.
Yeah.
Because we all have them, whether it be a heron,
right.
The raccoons,
Yeah.
the mink, all kinds of creatures.
Well, and that's really fascinating because you're actively, that's a serious issue too. Because
Very serious.
It really is.
But on the flip side of that, you're also attracting a lot of really pleasurable wildlife.
Yeah.
The birds.
All of the wildlife needs access to water all year round. And if you have a pond, or particularly a water feature that is flowing, it won't freeze. So your fish can stay there as long as it doesn't freeze, but also wildlife. The birds are coming and they're drinking, the squirrels, the rabbits, all of that. So it really stimulates the wildlife of all persuasions to come in. I've had herons floating around my pool. I had what I think was actually a stork.
Oh wow!
A
Did it bring you a
bird
baby?
eyeing my fish. And there are ways to again protect.
And how do you do it without scaring everything off too, and doing it the right way?
Yeah.
And that's so fascinating.
Yeah, but it's and I've actually had a red-tailed hawk actually come in and grab one of my little fish off the top of my pond. So I've started to grow some larger plants along the edges to reduce their flight paths and also deepening the pond so that the fish have a place to go and hide, because they're
right.
aware.
Yeah.
But that's part of the thing that you learn in designing a pond.
That's so cool though, and it really. Now, did you watch the hawk in real time do this?
I was literally sitting on my patio when it happened.
Oh, that's traumatizing.
It's so quick. But as I'm sure your listeners are well aware, we're seeing more and more wildlife coming back into the urban environments. So it's just recognizing that we've got to be cooperative. It's their space too.
That's so cool. You're 100% right. I mean, 100%. And, getting back into this, you got Pond-O-Rama in just about 11 days. It's Saturday and Sunday. There's 29?
29, yes.
I'm remembering my notes. Different spots on this tour. It's 2 days long. It's $25 to be a part of this. And it gets you a free membership into the St. Louis Water Garden Society. Or, if you have the Water Garden Society membership, you get free access to Pond-O-Rama, correct?
Correct.
And I got to ask you, Jenny, just because my mind keeps going back to it, are you going on another Egypt trip soon? When's your next big one?
I haven't traveled this year.
No way!
I can't believe I haven't, but I've been spending all my time trying to get Pond-O-Rama up and running, which is why. So I'll be happy to have the tour kind of come to an end. But we also, open our gardens to really, like if somebody really couldn't make it, we are open to sharing our gardens with garden clubs or whomever
really cool.
at any time. I mean, it always looks the best now, of course, because of the flowers are all in bloom. We've got beautiful annuals. But all of our members are so excited to always share their gardens at any point in time.
And what do the asterisks mean by some of the names?
That they have been on the tour perhaps last year.
Okay, gotcha.
Or in a previous year. We have a lot of new people on tour.
I noticed that.
And we have a lot of new advertisers as well. Like you mentioned, Hosta on the Bluff. They're new this year as an advertiser and a ticket seller. We were just up there not too long ago, and an absolutely phenomenal place with tons of hostas, and the deer love those too, by the way.
I guess they do. Well, I got to ask all of you this question. How do you guys ever want to leave your house when you have such a nice backyard? That's really, I think, my biggest disconnect, because if I do this, I don't know if I'll ever leave again.
Well, I really hate leaving on a trip, I will tell you that.
But it's so nice to come back to afterwards. And there again, if you're designing a water feature or a garden of any way, thinking about exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Well, maybe I'm leaving on a vacation for 2 weeks. How is this going to work? Fortunately, the koi take care of themselves, the plants take care of themselves, and the water features, if properly designed, take care of themselves too. So it's a pleasure that you can come back to, and it's a year-round pleasure. It's seeing it when we had our big snow, to see the water features in the snow. A lot of us have lights under the water, so it's just day, night, year round. It's a phenomenal, enjoyable part of your garden.
100%. Well, and now, what does it look like for both of you? You're 11 days out. Do you have any final preparations you do for your ponds at, like the day before or the week of? Is there
Of course.
Oh, okay.
Yes, as a matter of fact, they're going to be tweaking my pond at 2 o'clock today. I have a lady that's fixing a little area of my gazebo that seems to have had a little bit of an issue. And yes, I have mulch coming in this
Wow.
week. So yeah, I mean, not that we've waited till the last minute. It's just that this year we've had a tremendous amount of rain, and that has precluded a lot of us from, getting out in the garden, and and of course the weeds are prolific.
Oh man.
So
well, have you noticed it's always raining on the weekends?
yes,
It can't rain on a Wednesday. I've been going through the same thing. All I want to do is get literally maybe a 15-foot section of my yard done. That's all I've been asking for.
Yeah, just getting grass cut seems to be an issue these days. But yeah, so we wait till the last minute. But we want to make things looking pristine, and all of our hosts want their gardens to look absolutely the best they can look. And everybody's always so welcoming. That's the coolest thing. I've met some of the most wonderful people, and I'm sure Don has too, where, they come in and you just think, oh my gosh, how did you hear about us? And then you just chat and you find out you have so much in common, and they're enjoyable to talk to. And we learned from those, from our guests as well. You're always finding somebody who can do something that you think, oh, I would love to be involved with that. So, it's a win-win for everybody. It's a great community event.
100%. And before I let you guys go, I just want to make it just is just so cool to be able to showcase all of the St. Louis Metro East and some of the really cool spots, and really just to show people that there's so many that love where they live, and let's just keep the snowball effect going,
Oh, we hope so. And of course our Jewel Box.
Oh yeah, I wanted to wrap up with the Jewel Box. So Jewel Box, you guys are there every Saturday.
Every Saturday at 9:00, and we have a lot of both ladies and guys that come in. They just planted our lilies, our tropical, and our hardies. Well, our hardies we move, that they put in a bog. The tropicals they bring in, and they're starting to bloom now. It will look spectacular, and we want people to come down and really see it. Right, Don?
It's an area that many of us think about the Jewel Box. Oh, well, that's holiday displays or a wedding place. But the gardens around there, particularly the lilies, are just spectacular. It's one of those not so often visited areas, but if you're in the park, just take a nice little hike around there. I think you will be quite astounded. And as a not-for-profit, this is what we do to give back to the community. This is designed, planted, paid for, managed, maintenance, everything by the St. Louis Water Garden Society.
And in August, we have a banquet at the Jewel Box.
Oh, that's right. You do.
And it's a wonderful event. Yeah. All of our members are invited, and it looks spectacular. Last year, and I think this year too, they planted rice. And one year they planted edible plants. So we had appetizers with edible plants from the Jewel Box. And there's more than one pond too in the Jewel Box. It's not just the first one you see is always that spectacular one, but there's off to the side, and we have QR codes at the Jewel Box there to explain, what some of those are. So that's great.
It really is. And it's really good for people to know that, your community project is such a landmark of really St. Louis. Because, we all know what the Jewel Box is.
And we've been doing this for 35 years.
19. This is incredible.
Yeah, 35 years of working at the Jewel Box.
You're a non-for-profit? So
we're
501. Can we donate to you?
We're 501c4.
Oh, okay. I've already said we could round up some donations today too. Let's just keep this going. Why not?
Thank you for that.
Volunteer donations are appreciated.
Volunteer donations.
Well, then there you go. Well, before I let you guys go, anything else to talk about for now?
We're just delighted to be with you today, and we're excited for Pond-O-Rama. We're all looking forward to the event.
Really,
and we hope you will join us.
I am going to definitely make us. I got to at least go by and see Jenny and Don. I think that. Wait, hold on here. I'm out of town.
That's okay. You know what, CJ? We'll make special.
I know. I will call you. I will call you when we're back because I'm leaving the 20th.
Yeah,
and I'll be back the 29th.
Well, and I think to say that this is the weekend after Father's Day every year. So if you can't make it this year, put it on your calendar for next.
100%.
And we will make special arrangements for anybody who wants to come to our gardens.
Yes.
I love it. And we'll link everything in an article on RiverBender.com. We'll take a quick break. It's 9:53. A little bit of change. More Tuesday morning coming to you next right after this one.
Throughout all life stages, you need someone in your corner, guiding you on your health and wellness journey. At OSF Healthcare, that's your primary care provider. Your OSF primary care provider is there for every stage of life. Find a provider today at osfhealthcare.org/primary.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone, and over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car, I have a job, there's nothing holding me back anymore.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Then that time I went and said goodbye. Now I'm back and not ashamed to cry. Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Here I am, baby. Oh, you got me feeling shaky.
Welcome back. Okay, so I stumbled upon something today, doing some prep work for the show, and you know what's wild? Actually, before I even do that, I have been miserable. I'll just be honest with you. This sinus infection or whatever the hell I had going on was just brutal. It happens once a year. I always get this for like 2 weeks. I feel like absolute death, and I have no energy. Everyone thinks I have COVID, and I don't have a fever, and all that stuff. But it is just feeling, kind of great to be back into the saddle here. So, we got the energy now, and I'm feeling a lot better. And I found this. Okay, so it's called Italian brain rot. Listen to this. And at first, I thought, we could tie this in and have some fun. I was going to pull up some Sopranos things, or maybe, just because, let the Italian have fun with it. But I decided I didn't have enough time today. However, this is a new trend. Okay, a new internet meme. Trend characterized by nonsensical AI generation. Okay, so it's become popular. In the term, it's more of like a stylistic choice for the word Italian. I don't know why they call it that. It's more than that, than a reference than it is to Italian culture or language. But so, like, what could Italian brain rot be? Okay, well, it could be like, I don't know, maybe a ballerina Cupuccino. Maybe it's a shark in sneakers. I don't know. Here's why I'm saying this. So the other day I'm looking at all these things, like these weird videos, okay? And here, I'm going to pull up here we go. Right here. We'll pull this up for you. Open this in a new window, okay? We're learning something today. I have time to do this. All right, here we go. So, that's it, right? Nonsensical. These are all AI-generated things. But it got me thinking. I was watching these videos the other day, and it was like a mysterious fish getting pulled out of the ocean, and all of a sudden you look at it, and it ain't a fish. It just starts morphing into other things, and you realize it's AI-generated. But the problem I have with this, it's called, and we're pointing tongue-in-cheek at Italian brain rot just because that's kind of the new thing, and that's the name that they're giving this, which is fine. But it's one of those interesting components to where AI is getting just so wild. I mean, honestly, could your brain ever imagine to really draw something like this, or even graphic design something like this, or put it together? No. But the other day I was watching, I was just on YouTube Shorts, and this is what I think is so wild about this and fascinating at the same time, is this way that AI is going in terms of video, because obviously we know this isn't real, right? It's AI generated. But the bad part is, it's not the Italian brain rot, it's the AI-generated videos. The other day, I was sitting there, and this has nothing to do with political preference. I just want to preface that by saying it has nothing to do with political preference or who I voted for or who anyone voted for. But it was a video of our president sitting there in the Oval Office, and he started just rambling about, like his love, and it was seriously like loving Musk and all of these different things, and really just kind of all the conspiracy theories that are out there were just flying out of his mouth. And I'm thinking, who let this air? Turns out it was AI generated. And that's kind of the point of this. It's AI is getting to this point where you can't tell what's real or fake. And that's becoming a major problem. So I was reading this about Italian brain rot and how it's become fun. And it's this new kind of meme generator thing. And you come up with these kind of fun ideas and all of that, which is, that's cool. But when it comes to where you're distorting the news or distorting the reality that in which we live in, that's kind of scary. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I don't know what they can do about it, but there's so many more of these. And it's, it starts with, you got the President of the United States that are AI generated things and the White House and all of that stuff. But you also have it being generated now against world leaders, actors, and all these A-listers that it really becomes harmful. So I don't know what they're going to do about it. I saw this about Italian brain rot because I thought it was funny. But when I was thinking about it earlier today, it really brought back this more concerning point to where AI is getting out of hand. I mean, it's great for efficiency, and we love all of that because it streamlines so many things if you know how to use it correctly. But then you have these things where it creates these false realities, or it completely misleads people into believing a whole different reality just based on what the AI-generated video was saying. I don't know. Just my thoughts on it. It's 10 o'clock. We'll take a quick break. Top of the hour news next.
Throughout all life stages, you need someone in your corner, guiding you on your health and wellness journey. At OSF Healthcare, that's your primary care provider. Your OSF primary care provider is there for every stage of life. Find a provider today at osfhealthcare.org/primary.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone, and over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car, I have a job, there's nothing holding me back anymore.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Welcome back. 10:02 is the time on this 10th day of June. Here's what you need to know in this 10 o'clock hour. Make sure you sign up for that daily email update, and you'll never miss out. You can also join us on Around the Riverbend every morning at 7:30, where you get your daily dose of everything local. This was submitted by the Illinois Attorney General's office, and here's what we need to know. Attorney General Kwame Raoul did announce today that former Jersey County Treasurer pleaded guilty to a felony theft charge after she knowingly obtained more than $50,000 in 2024 by deception for personal gain from Jersey County banks while in her role as treasurer. Raoul's office prosecuted Katie Abbey, 37, of Jerseyville, who pled guilty to Class 1 felony theft by deception. Sangamon County Circuit Court Chief Judge Daniel Wright sentenced her to pay $58,453.76 in restitution and serve 45 days of home confinement and 30 months of felony probation. Public servants are entrusted with resources that allow them to fulfill responsibilities on behalf of the taxpayers that they serve, which is why they must be held to a higher standard, Raoul said. He continued, in an egregious violation of the public's trust when any elected official takes advantage of this responsibility for their own personal gain. My office committed to ensuring these individuals held accountable. The Illinois State Police Special Investigations Unit found evidence that Abbey knowingly falsified cash slips and checks drawn from Jersey County banks maintained by the Jersey County Treasurer's Office to falsely reflect lower amounts of tax and other revenue paid by Jersey County citizens. Abbey then used the money for personal gain with the intent of permanently depriving the county of those funds. The case was referred to Raoul's office by the Jersey County State's Attorney's Office. An Assistant Attorney General, Jonas Harger, prosecuted the case for Raoul's Public Integrity Bureau. But that's an update. We finally have that final part of that Jersey County chapter there, right there, and that's the guilty plea for Jersey County Treasurer, former Jersey County Treasurer Katie Abbey. Also in the news today, Godfrey Park visitors will soon see no smoking signs as concerns grow over children's exposure to secondhand smoke near playgrounds. Local physician Katie Shearer highlighted the rising cases of asthma and respiratory issues among children, emphasizing the dangers of both cigarette and vape smoke. Discussions at the recent Public Safety Committee meeting included the possibility of designated smoking huts placed away from play areas, though it remains uncertain if smokers will use them given their proximity to children. Trustees and park and recreational officials agreed on the importance of clear signage to ensure smoke-free environments and playgrounds near the smash pads. Also in the news today, the Collinsville Police Department actively searching for Michael Pinson, who currently has an active felony warrant for aggravated unlawful use of a weapon as part of their ongoing efforts to apprehend fugitives. Authorities released his information on the 6th of June. The department urges anyone with knowledge of Pinson's location to contact them at 618-344-2131, extension 5209. The 36th annual Two Rivers Family Fishing Fair recently brought families together at the National Great Rivers Museum, Pere Marquette, at Pere Marquette State Park. There was a typo. A day full of free fishing activities, educational exhibits, and entertainment aimed at connecting all ages with outdoor recreation and natural resources. It was hosted by, again, the DNR, the U.S. Corps of Engineers, and Two Rivers National Wildlife Refuge. The event featured over 30 interactive stations, including catch and release, bluegill fishing, bow fishing, and prize-winning one-cast stations. Special guests like Hall of Famer Jimmy Houston and Duck Dynasty's Tim Garuti added excitement. Kids completing 7 stations earned rewards and had the chance to fish for stock trout with live music, a mobile aquarium, and hands-on lessons. The fair will continue to inspire new generations to appreciate nature and fishing. You can see a full recap on RiverBender.com/news. Couple of 3 things left for you. Jerry's Cafeteria, a beloved Granite City institution for over 40 years, has reopened its cafeteria after closing last October to focus on catering. Located at 1920 Edison Avenue in Granite, the cafeteria now operates Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., and then on Fridays stays open until 5:30. Owner John Roderick and General Manager Mickey Loftus adapted to the rising costs by scaling back staff and menu items while maintaining signature dishes like the Hungarian goulash and chicken and dumplings. New items such as the barbecue pork steak are also being introduced. Catering and weekend event space rentals do continue as Jerry's works to regain its footing with community support. Finally, in the news today, The Alton Committee of Whole approved a resolution 5-2 to replace the expiring state grocery sales tax with a locally collected 1% grocery sales tax. This move aims to offset an estimated $400,000 in annual revenue loss when the state tax expires in 2026. The Illinois General Assembly allows municipalities to impose this local tax without increasing grocery prices, as it replaces the existing state tax. Some aldermen expressed interest in taxing other items, but sale tax on liquor and tobacco remains separate. The resolution now heads to the Alton City Council for final approval on the 11th of June. We'll take a look at weather. 71 degrees. It feels like 80 already. Today, hazy sun, smoke from wildfires in Canada can reduce air quality overall, so be mindful of that if you have some of those issues. Humidity at 54%. Air quality right now overall is at 77, which ranks in at moderate. Grass levels are moderate today, too. Mold is low. Ragweed and tree levels, well, they're moderate today as well. So Claritin Day, I think, my friends. Hey, temperatures reach 80 degrees today and drop down to 59 overnight as we head into Wednesday. On Wednesday and Thursday, it's going to be steamy. A high of 87 on Wednesday, a low of 65 with humidity. And then on Thursday, a high of 89, a low of 66 as we head into Friday. On Friday, the 13th, I might add, a high of 80, a low of 68, and thunderstorms all throughout the day. And then on Saturday, a high of 81, a low of 67 degrees. That's a look at the next 5 days. Here's what's happening now at 10:10. It's 71 degrees. It feels like 79 out there. For time and temperature throughout the day, 618-465-4545. This time powered by Bounce Back Rehab Recover. Return home or just download the RiverBender.com app today, and you'll never miss out on your daily dose of everything. Local plus push notes and weather alerts when you need them the most. Hey, before we take a quick break, let me fill you in on my friends. My good friends. Great friends at this point. At Carver's Barbecue. Okay? Listen, it's going to be 80 degrees today. Do you want to cook? Let me repeat that. It's going to be 80 degrees today. Do you really want to cook? It's going to be 90 degrees tomorrow. Do you really want to cook? It's going to be 90 degrees on Thursday. Let me ask you again. Do you really want to cook? The answer is, of course, no. So then go to Carver's. What are you doing to yourself? Listen, Carver's is award-winning barbecue, and it's done right. You know, Carver's is all about making that experience the best possible. You know what I think's great? You go in there and you get award-winning barbecue for lunch. You take $20 extra with you. Make sure you bring 20 extra, not the 20 you were going to use for lunch. You don't miss out if you lose. You go right over to the slot machine. You put it in. Boom, $200 winner. You take it out. You're happy. Carver's is happy. We're all happy. Now, guess what? Father's Day is this coming weekend. And you know what I've been telling you for weeks, months, almost a year, you can use their catering options. I mean, think about this. Why be over a stove for hours when you can just sit there, have Carver's cater for your Father's Day event, and you and your family are taken care of? Everybody's going to be happy, whether or not you do brisket, chicken, pulled pork, or ribs. Everything's good at Carver's Barbecue. You can find out more at carversbbq.com. That's carversbbq.com. And don't forget to ask them about their event catering options and all of that great stuff, too. Don't forget to tell them that you know who sent you over their way. Alrighty, take a quick break. But first, let's take a look at downtown Alton. Back in a bit.
If I really could have hung the moon, would it change your mind? If I could cry a little harder and get a little less sleep at night, if I had 2 dozen roses.
Throughout all life stages, you need someone in your corner, guiding you on your health and wellness journey. At OSF Healthcare, that's your primary care provider. Your OSF primary care provider is there for every stage of life. Find a provider today at osfhealthcare.org/primary.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone. And over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car. I have a job. There's nothing holding me back anymore.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Roses and an old bottle of wine. If I really could have hung the moon, would it change your mind?
Welcome back. 10:38, a little bit of change on this Thursday. I keep forgetting. It's so wild that Thursday's already here. May's flying by, Jason. And we aren't talking about pile drivers or getting hit in the head with a steel chair today, but, it's this mind's eye I've been following since your journey began, and it's so cool to see how this has grown. And this Beatball World Series and this Beatball in general is such a wonderful and such a cool thing, and it's so great to have you here to talk about this.
No, I'm glad you had me in. I said we could go throwback and talk about a little pro wrestling. But we actually audio describe some pro wrestling stuff too for Mind's Eye, so it's not too far fetched. We got a bunch of pro wrestling guys on the team. It's funny because one of our guys uses a whole. We're probably going way, but they use the whole Jacob Fatu thing. I know where he gets it from. It's like no gas, all gas, no brakes. I'm like, I know where that comes from. I know where that comes from.
Well, man, before we go into the Beatball World Series, take me through Mind's Eye Radio, and for the folks in our coverage area that aren't too familiar with it, just an overview of what you guys are all about.
So what we do at Mind's Eye, we translate vision to audio and to build a more inclusive community for those in the blind or vision impaired community. We do it through 3 programs. A lot of people who've been in this area for quite some time probably remember that Mind's Eye is a radio reading service. That's what we started out as in 1973. We read newspapers, magazines, books. So you think about any printed material that someone would need to access. Even if you think about grocery store ads, we read Schnucks ads, Walgreens, and even now one of the latest evolutions of our broadcast program is actually bringing podcasts who are done by blind, visually impaired podcasters. And then you kind of get the other programs that we've added now with audio description and also adaptive athletics. That's really cool.
And with the bringing in the podcasting and everything else, I know I was just on Brian's show and really just had a good time with that. But bringing all these nuances to this is really just such a cool thing because, you're talking about, reading grocery, store ads and doing things that, you and I would never think twice about, having any issue with. And it's just interesting and really cool to know about organizations like this that are, have been there and have been that tool to utilize.
Yeah, you kind of, like you said, just even the grocery store ads, we take it for granted. Like you or I, we are excited. So when I go to a store, I do no prep work. Like that's why I don't get to go that often. Right. My wife is like, Jason probably shouldn't go to the grocery store. But like I'm in there, I can see that if I go to Schnucks, I can see the yellow stickers or whatever. But like if someone who's going and trying to make the best decisions to save money as a shopper and they're blind or low vision, it's hard to navigate those through a store in real time. So to give them that information ahead of time so they can make those decisions is important. When we talk about the podcast done by, people who are blind or visually impaired, there's a gentleman who has a podcast on our network, Langford Cunningham. He hosts Blind City. And one of the things he told me was a very powerful quote, like when we talk about like people listening. And he was, blind people are always asked to listen, but when do we ever get a chance to speak? And I remember him saying, and that's kind of what started that journey about podcasting and making sure we have a show where a guy talks about grilling, who's a blind griller. Langford, of course, that I just mentioned, talks about just different issues in the city of St. Louis and the areas throughout. And also we have blind athletes who do sports podcasts talking about adaptive sports, but also their take on some pro sports as well. So it's just cool to have that that voice lent to the blind community on the broadcast side.
And how can we find the Mind's Eye broadcasts in the network?
So when I first started there, I would have to tell you one way. It used to be where we would send to each individual listener a small radio box. It had one knob and it had Mind's Eye Radio on there. That's how you would access. That changed. I've been there now 12 years. It changed about year 3 where we start now, hey, you go on the website. Now, if you have, so turn off your Amazon devices. I'm going to say, you say, play Alexa, play Mind's Eye, and Mind's Eye will pop up. You can get all the programs on demand. So not only can you do it to listen to we're air programs 24/7, all those programs are read by volunteers, but you can get it on the app. And we also have a Mind's Eye app now too. So if you have an Android or iPhone, there's a Mind's Eye radio app that you can also access where you can listen to the live stream or you can listen to on-demand programs each day.
Really cool. And now as we go into adaptive sports and this Beat Ball World Series, take me through Mind's Eye's involvement and participation when it comes to this.
That journey changed quite a bit too.
Okay.
So when I first started at Mind's Eye, I think we talked earlier, we kind of hinted, you know me from a different world.
Yeah.
When I first started at Mind's Eye, I also was at 101 ESPN. Mm-hmm. I'm a big sports guy. I'm always loved sports, no matter if it's pro wrestling. I know some people are like, that's not a sport, but it is.
It is.
It's real to us. So we're going to keep it that way.
It was real to my back, too.
You talk about MMA, you talk about baseball, football, I watch it all. So when I got to Mind's Eye, I said, hey, every year, once a year, we do this ultimate beat ball tournament. We do it. It's a way to raise awareness about what we do at the radio side, because it was the only program at that time. And it's played the pitchers on the batting team. They are trying to actually get the players to make contact. You're not trying to strike out the batter. That's not the object of the game. So the pitcher's basically trying to make contact with that batter. Then they have to run to a base that's a tall tackling dummy, makes a noise. The ball is called beep ball because the ball actually beeps. Mm-hmm. And I was just fascinated by all the aspects of this sport, because with baseball, some of the things we also talk about, when you just think about the things you're talking about when you're playing Little League baseball. Hey, see the ball, hit the ball, look the ball into your glove. All these things that are so visual. And here's a sport, America's pastime, that's played without the use of vision at a very high level. At this time, I knew it as a couple teams from the community, a couple corporations getting out there, learning more about people with vision loss, but not really, it wasn't at a high level then. It was, okay, like one run is being scored in the game. Mm-hmm. And then we got asked about, hey, can you do some of these demonstrations at offices or maybe schools? And 2019, I was asked by a gentleman who said, hey, Mind's Eye does beat ball. There's a beat ball World Series that takes place where you have all these teams come from all over the place. Why don't you do it? At first I said no. CJ, I was like, I don't know if we should do that. Then I got talked to and I said, hey, like maybe we'll just go to the World Series. That's all we'll do. And fast forward now, we're in our second year of hosting the World Series. And as I talk to you, I'm getting ready to go to Indianapolis for our team, the Gateway Archers, to play in a regional tournament this weekend.
Well, and the thing is, I had no knowledge of beat ball before I started seeing your posts on Facebook. And the more I saw it, I mean, you hit it right on the head. I mean, it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen, to be able to play a sport that you have to be so visual. And it's not, I mean, there's some things that you can, some athletes, like when I was playing soccer, hell, I didn't need to see where I was going half the time because you visualize and you just kind of know when it's second nature. But when you got a ball traveling at you and you have a stick to use to get it to where you need to go, heck, we all know people that can see 20/20 and they can't hit a ball to save their life. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, yeah, I've seen that too. So
this is so cool.
Yeah, and that's what I say. And that's also, look at it from an aspect of, it's this sport where you need a lot of communication because a lot of parts have to work, even if you have the pitcher sighted. So hitting the ball is based more on communication than is the beeping ball. But when the ball was put in play, the defenders who are trying to retrieve that ball and get it before the runner hits that base, if they get it before the runner hits the base, it's an out.
Okay.
If they get to base versus a run scored, and the bases are random, so you don't know if you're running to first or third.
Gotcha.
So you also got to use your ears to say, okay, am I going first or third? But even on the defensive side, you have two people there in the background that are spotters. and they're calling out as a zone. So they know the teams know their zones. Like they call zone 6. That's typically right up the middle of the field. So the defenders start collapsing in, and what the biggest problem, I'm used to it now, but the biggest amazement for me when we first started doing it this over the national level was, I'm like, how? Okay, I know they call it the 6. How are these guys not running into each other? They're
right.
They're perfectly zippering up where they're collapsing behind each other. I'm like, this is amazing. And it's just, it's just so many fascinating sports of just the physical nature, but also the mental nature and kind of just, the professionalism of knowing how to play, knowing where your teammates are at, knowing where the zones are not going to be at. It's just absolutely fascinating when you're involved.
It's such a cool thing. And for, people that are, maybe younger that are, visually impaired or blind, to know that you aren't going to be able to miss out on things like, baseball and different opportunities because of things like that. It's such a cool thing. And now, if you're just tuning in, the World Series is going to be July 20th through the 26th. It's the 2025 National Beat Baseball Association World Series. And now this is going to be in 2 spots around the Metro East.
Yeah, so last year we hosted in 24. We hosted it at Slyman Soccer Complex in St. Charles. We've made a change this year. So this year we'll be on the Illinois side. We'll be right down from where we're at now here in Alton. We'll be at Glened West, which is on the campus of SIUE, not too far from the softball stadium, Cordy Stadium. You're familiar with that area. And then we'll also have a second location, which will be Reiner Memorial Soccer Complex in Caseyville, Illinois. So those will have games going. The games will start on Tuesday, the 22nd. There's some festivities starting that Monday night, but Tuesday through Saturday games are going all day consistently. So it's a lot of things that when you're hosting a Beat Ball World Series, of course, there's things about on-field play, but also part of the sport too is the camaraderie of the players. Mm-hmm. It's also the network. Part of it is also some logistics you don't think about, like in the World Series. People bring their guide dogs. The guide dogs had to go somewhere.
Oh, yeah,
games.
yeah.
So doggy daycare.
That's cool as hell. That is so cool.
So you got to have, just those things are part of logistics that people don't think about when they're hosting sporting events. So it's a pretty big deal and also needs a lot of support. And I know volunteers are crucial to making this event go off without a hitch.
100%. And now, are there still sponsorship opportunities for this event too?
Yes, there's sponsorship opportunities. Like if someone wants to support the doggy daycare, mm-hmm. there's an opportunity for that. Also, one of the things we talk about is providing transportation to and from fields because the players are not able to get there from the hotel on their own. So making sure we have transportation, so there's sponsorships for that. Some of the cool things I talked about on Monday night, there is a cool clinic where we actually introduce kids from the area who maybe have not played beat baseball to the sport.
Wow.
So we started trying to build future athletes and getting them ready to participate in the World Series. Last year we had about 40 kids come out and participate. And I even recommend that to kids who are sighted. Just so, because so many of the volunteer positions for beat baseball when you're on a team need sighted volunteers. So, and I also think it's a good way to just, like you said, kind of get kids to understand that no matter what level you're at, no matter what ability, as long as things are made accessible, you can participate.
Yeah.
I have an 8-year-old son, and he helps out. He tries his best to guide players into the tent without running them into the tent. It's still a work in progress, but he's getting that knowledge and being around the community. And I just think that's a valuable source going down the line just for him and anybody of youth. So there's also ways to sponsor that activity as well.
It really is, and it's one of those too where like you said, the younger you can show support and volunteerism and stuff, it's really cool. I mean, these sponsorship levels are really affordable too. The field sponsors at $2,500 or the Cool or Wool sponsor. I was thinking of the Cools that I used to smoke. Kids of Our League is what Cool stands for. Women of Our League is Wool, and it's $1,000 sponsor. The Beat Ball sponsors $500, or you can sponsor that doggy daycare for $250. There's also program ads in there, and honestly, it's just one that it's an event that you want to support because of just how cool it is. I mean, this is really just something that I've wanted to talk about for a while.
And I think if people get a chance to come see it and come be a part of it, it's addictive. Like I said, and I'm one of those people who got addicted. I came out and I said, we're going to do one tournament, as I mentioned. And now we go to 5. Someone was talking to me for another team. They're like, because we have a team that we sponsor, the Gateway Archers. Mm-hmm. It's our local team here. The Mind's Eye also sponsors and rallies behind. And someone's like, you guys go to like 5 tournaments a year plus the World Series. I say, yeah, we kind of went all in, but like it's a joy of seeing those guys compete and, seeing also the other players. Because even though when we're competing against teams in the field, I'm such a fan of some of the players you see out there that have competed at a high level, do some amazing things in the field. Even if they're helping in games where they're beating us with these amazing plays, I'm like, after the game, I can appreciate it a little bit. But during the game, I'm like, could you have not missed that ball or not hit the ball so far? But no, it's just kind of cool to be around the community too.
Well, and honestly, it's one that I think the public would be interested in just going and being a part of and supporting and cheering on too. Just to watch a game and see what it's like, because this is something that really is so cool and takes so much talent to do. I mean, this is not easy. Oh
no, definitely not. Like last year, we had so many people who came out not only to support, but people came out to volunteer. That's one of the things. We need about 91 volunteers per day. So they came out. Some people will come out on that Tuesday and they're like, hey, I'm going to be out here Tuesday at 8 a.m. And I see them Wednesday at 11, Thursday at 11. And, they keep coming throughout the week because they kind of just got the bug. They wanted to be around because there were jobs that were pretty easy to do, but they're important to do for the game to make sure that we run everything without a hitch for the players throughout that week.
100%. Now, what's the best way to get information on volunteer opportunities or how to just say, hey, I'm ready to help?
So same source. You go to you can go there for volunteer opportunities, more information about the location to watch games, but also to sponsorships. It's going to be mindseyeradio.org/World Series.
Man, he has no notes too. That was impressive. I can't even. I have script books because I don't know how to remember my own name, Jason.
Yeah. When you do it for a little bit, everything starts coming second nature a little bit.
Well, and for more information on Mind's Eye Radio as a whole, and really just some of the great work being done, and also how you can tune in, it's mindseyeradio.org. You can get that full list, or the Alexa, which is a great feature too, where you just say, hey, Alexa, play Mind's Eye.
Yeah. And I think if you want to be a listener, but also one program we have not really touched about, and we see some cool things too, is audio description events. So we also audio describe sporting events. The Muni's coming up. The Muni season will be there Monday and Saturday, Cardinal games.
Oh, wow.
Even if you look on City SC, we audio describe every City SC home game, and there'll be a pretty cool feature on their website today or in the next couple of days about Mind's Eye, an event we did with them. So check all that out. Make sure you check the calendar. Get out. We want to make sure we talk about building a more inclusive community. It's not only through making sure people know what's going on in the community through the radio side or being out there in the baseball field or even going to an audio description event. Being a part of the community as a whole and just knowing what's going on, being able to be included in events that normally people would be included in, is a special thing. Something that, like I said, we've taken for granted, but seeing people just to get to have those opportunities has been amazing for me in my 13 years at Mind's Eye.
Man, thank you so much for stopping by and filling us in on this. I've been really excited to talk about Mind's Eye as a whole, but also just Beep Ball, because like you said, the talent and just how cool of a game it is, and really just one I hope you guys are a part of, whether or not you're volunteering or sponsoring this wonderful event, July the 20th through the 25th, 2 locations in Caseyville and in at the is it Edwardsville or Glen Carbon?
It's at Edwardsville and then the Edwardsville area, right on the SIU campus.
Glen Ed, that Glen Ed name always just throws me off. I'm like, man, what part of it? Hey, be a part of this though, and tune in. You can also hear a previous conversation that I just had on Mind's Eye Radio with Brian. That was a pretty good one. We were over there having some fun at Max and all the other great programming and content there too. mindseyeradio.org/World Series for more on that. We'll link everything in an article on RiverBender.com. Jason, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you. Next time we'll chat about some pro wrestling next time.
Absolutely. I'm ready for it. Hey, we'll take a quick break and we'll wrap up Thursday morning after this.
Throughout all life stages, you need someone in your corner, guiding you on your health and wellness journey. At OSF Healthcare, that's your primary care provider. Your OSF primary care provider is there for every stage of life. Find a provider today at osfhealthcare.org/primary.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone. And over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car, I have a job, there's nothing holding me back anymore.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
That's just amazing. Welcome back, 1033, a little bit of change. Charles Mooneyham. Did I spell everything right? Did I spell everything right? I didn't ask.
I didn't ask. Let me take a look here. Now I'm old man eyes here. All right.
I can't see.
Yeah, it looks like it's spelled correctly.
I botch everything. Like this has been. I didn't ask. I just said, CJ, you gotta be confident in yourself here.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, that's the only way to be.
You know, my name's Charles as well.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. We have Charles squared.
That's right.
Wonderful.
And only one Charles is in charge, and he's over there. Charles Mooneyham, we're now on State Street, and I was telling you beforehand, I love the fact that you're down here. I really do. It adds so much to the district to be a part of the Alton Main Street district, and you got great rivers and routes right there too. But you know, to add this section to the corridor and have you a part of that walking experience is perfect.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's really interesting how I ended up here. I actually had no intention of opening a gallery whatsoever. I just moved to Alton about 2.5 years ago. My spouse is a professional tarot card reader, so you know, spooky's good for business. So you know, hey, you know, so you know, and it's like, you know, I have ever since looked at my house and really saw what Alton was turning into. It's like quickly becoming like the next Eureka Springs, Arkansas. And if you look at Eureka Springs, Arkansas, they have every single feature that we have here. You know, their entire community is based around haunted ghost tours. They have a famous biker bar. They have Native American springs and stuff like that. And it's rich in history and culture. Yeah. And it sounds kind of oddly familiar to me. I mean, you know, I don't know. So, you know, and so when I first moved,
they even got a wedge building down there.
I know, right?
It's incredible.
It's a neat place. If you've never been, it's about it's just the other side of Branson. It is an amazing little staycation if you want to go far but not go too far.
Yeah.
So or you know, now just come to Alton. You know, hey, because it's here. The culture's here, and interestingly enough, since I've started this journey, there's like over 20 famous artists living in Alton, and nobody really knew each other. It's really bizarre, but here we are. And but anyway, I digress. I said I recently moved here about 2.5 years ago. When I moved here, I wasn't making art. I've only been back in the art world for about 1 year and 2 months.
Fascinating.
I had previously worked for the last 20 years in behavioral health, most recently for the suicide hotline.
Wow.
And prior to that, I worked with kids with autism for like 15 years. So, you know, the last almost 20 years of my life has been focused on behavioral health. Mm-hmm. Now, rewind, in my past life, I was actually a hippie artist then, you know, so that's what my original degree was in. You know, in 2013, I went back to school for behavioral neuroscience and started, you know, going down that path. During the pandemic, working for the suicide hotline, you know, 988 went live. We were also taking 911 calls, veteran crisis line, you know, and just to deal with the stress, I started painting again to, you know, cope with the stress of the job.
100%.
And, you know, I started out with just some pop art paintings of doing like horror icons or, you know, whatever I wanted. And I started putting them out on Facebook, and, you know, they were selling. You know, and I'm like, oh, okay, so there's an interest here. And then, you know, I decided like, well, I used to do art shows back in the day, and I had all this photography laying around, and I never really showed my photography before. And I'm like, let's put it in and see what happens. It was a joke. I got in. And then like 2 months later, I had a solo show at the Renaissance Hotel for photography. And I'm a painter. And I'm like, what is going on here? Like, okay, I'm going to run with it.
That's cool.
Then I decided that I was going to leave my job and just become a full-time hippie artist weirdo, and I couldn't think of a better place than Alton to do that. So I ultimately wanted my studio in Alton, but finding property was challenging at that time because I didn't know anybody in town yet. So I rented literally the porch of a building directly across the street from Josephine's over in Godfrey. I quickly painted myself out of room. By the end of, I'd say by August, I was in like 7 different galleries in 2 states. And I was like, I need a bigger space. I need to get out of here. So then I moved my studio over to the Milton Schoolhouse. Started setting up there. And, you know, that desire to continue to give back was still tugging at me. And, you know, that's when I produced the Alton Art Expo, which was a benefit for Centerstone, which ironically is the last time I think I saw you. I was
Okay, all making sense.
The dude
now.
with a mohawk throwing out the first pitch.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay, it's all coming back to me now. I feel like Celine Dion.
Well, you know, So I produced Alton Art Expo, but the last thing I wanted to do was, you know, produce an art fair where, you know, the artists donate their work and give it away, and that's how money is generated. Yeah. So what I actually tried to do is kind of unheard of. So, you know, it was a benefit for Centerstone to raise money. It was also to destigmatize access to behavioral health care, and then also allow artists an opportunity to make a living, and also show how art can be healing, so to speak. And, you know, it was a first-year event. I did it in 3 months to build it out. And we had, over the course of the day and a half, because it was a 2-day event, we probably had almost 2,000 people come through.
Are you serious?
Yes. And as an entire group with all the vendors, I went through and interviewed everybody afterward. We did about $30,000 in art sales.
Are you
on top of the money and food that we generated for Centerstone?
That's incredible.
On a first-year event in Alton. So that told me right then and there, all right, we are on to something.
That's so cool.
Ideally, you know, I produced one last art show at the Milton, and then I started to move downtown. And that show is still continued. So the show that started there is still up at the State Street location at 305 State Street. And it, you know, the idea is I'd like to eventually bring the Alton Art Expo downtown, turn it into a street festival.
That'd be so cool.
And I want to expand the vendor list outside of just visual artists into musicians. You know, have a booth and sell your wares. Authors, poets, writers, theater groups, comedy groups, you know, set it all up. And of course, I'd likely be keeping Centerstone as the fiduciary because I'm very passionate about their cause.
Me too. They're on the show twice a month for a reason. What they do, and really just from all aspects of behavioral health care and substance use disorder treatment, is just huge.
It's fantastic. And I love their wraparound approach. You know, they're not just treating the person, they're not just treating the symptoms, they're treating the whole person, which also includes barrier removal, access to resources, etc.
I love them that they help their families too, and they try to get their family members on the same page.
Well,
that's so huge.
It's all about community, and that's what we're really trying to do here. And it's like, you know, one of those situations to where the reason why it's so important for me is because, you know, behavioral health is something that I myself have struggled with, and it's been rich in my family. My mom died by suicide. My aunt died by suicide. My half-brother died by suicide, and I'm an attempt survivor. And one of the things that how I got partnered up with Centerstone is they were really intrigued by my story, and I'm actually going to be their keynote speaker at Life Story, which is their 5K run.
In Marion, correct?
Yes, correct. I wish it was the one in Florida.
Yeah, come on now, Aaron. What are we doing?
I know, right? Yeah, I got you. I didn't get my jersey. All right.
I'll work on that.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm really excited about that and to destigmatize access to behavioral health and have more candid conversations with people about it's okay to not be okay. And there are organizations out there like Centerstone that can show you how to be okay when you're most definitely not.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's kind of one of those things to where if you look at my life, you know, 20 years ago, you know, I'm sitting there and, you know, things are not well. and I was in an active attempt, and I had called a suicide hotline and cussed him out and hung up on him. I was in crisis.
Right.
So next thing I know, the police come knocking on my door, bang, 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 and I got a lovely free 7-day stay at Del Mar Metro State Hospital, completely complimentary. And but anyway, when I got out, that's when I decided to really make life changes. And that's I always tell people my entire time working in applied behavioral analysis with kids with autism, those kids did more for me than I ever could do for them, and I was like, maybe I'll find an easier job as I'm getting older, and it can be very physically demanding. So I'll go for the suicide hotline. Not easier, especially when 988 went live, and then the pandemic hit. It was just like, it really made it brazenly obvious exactly what kind of crisis that we as a society are in.
100%.
And, I can think of no better way to lift up a community than through the empowerment of arts.
Yeah.
And, a couple of the things that I'm trying to do besides getting the expo moved downtown is I'm trying to put together a project by a famous artist named Craig Downs. He is internationally known. He lives in Portland part of the time and then down in San Pancho when it's cold. And he's the founder of the Wall Together Now project, which has occurred all over the United States. And he paints these big giant murals and puts numbers on them. And the entire community comes down, gets assigned a color and a team. And it is a community project because the ideology behind it is team building, community building, and it's turning community into an asset.
Yeah.
Because people are going to take better care of things that they were a part of.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, and see, that's right. You hit on something with art and with entertainment, I think that's so important that we always forget about. Where every time you turn on your TV, no matter what, unless you're like me and you got your YouTube TV pretty much figured out where you can remove channels and you can just be in your own space and be happy. But I mean, there's so much stress in the world. And whether or not it's financial or it's emotional stress or it's internal stress, mental health, there's so many times where you can see folks that are having just maybe you're watching your best friend for a couple of days or your significant other for a few weeks, just kind of not having the best days, just going rough for them. Right. But the moment that you can see somebody that's maybe had a little bit of a rougher time come out of their shell and really enjoy and immerse themselves in entertainment and culture and arts, it does more than for me in my opinion, just from what I've gone through, done more for me personally than really sitting down and talking, because it's just feeling the community and feeling the presence of a good atmosphere. Well,
it's that enrichment.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, there's a meme that's really popular on Facebook. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it. And it shows a picture of McDonald's in 1994 and a McDonald's in 2025, and they're side by side. And the McDonald's in 1994 is red and blue,
right,
and clowns, and now the 2025 it's gray and straight lines and it looks like a prison.
It's like Very Odd Parents. Have you ever seen that show?
I have not.
Oh, you got to watch this. The greatest episode of cartoons ever made, and it was for kids, but it showed what it's like to become a blob and become grayscale and become merged into the fabric of society, and everyone turns gray, and it's so crazy. In 15 minutes to watching it now, I'm like, this makes sense. It's a snow globe effect.
Gotcha. Yeah. And so, above and beyond just the enrichment of how, art and culture can benefit somebody, it can also, just the act of making it on a neurological perspective, can reduce symptoms associated with PTSD, depression, anxiety. There are many clinical trials that have evidenced, and been replicated of the benefits of the healing power of arts.
Wow. You got a moment to stick around for me?
Oh, certainly.
I got to pay one last bill of the day. It's 10:45, a little bit of change. More of this great conversation comes right around the corner with the new neighbors of RiverBender.com, Mooneyham Art Collective, right after this.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone. And over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car. I have a job. There's nothing holding me back anymore.
Do you need to declutter your space? Time to call me, the Queen of Junk. Since 1993, we have grown to be the leader in residential, commercial, and property management junk removal. At Sparks Junk Removal, we are eco-friendly. We recycle, donate, or repurpose items back into our community. Trash is our last resort to the landfill. Plus, with our all-inclusive service, our crews handle everything from labor to lifting and landfill fees. Give us a call or visit our website, sparksjunkremoval.net, to reclaim your space today.
When you need a project done right, on budget and on time, trust Gillahan Concrete. Gillahan handles every kind of project, big and small. Commercial, industrial, residential, from room additions and garages to patios, driveways, and more. Gillahan brings quality and experience to every job. Family owned with over 30 years of service to our community. Call today at 618-781-3914 or visit GillahanConcrete.com.
Looking for the best barbecue in Madison County? Head over to Carver's Barbecue in Godfrey, Illinois. From loaded barbecue nachos to mouth-watering pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more, Carver's serves up award-winning flavors you'll love. Family-owned, Carver's is all about fresh, made in-house dishes served daily. Come visit us at 2716 Groveland in Godfrey, or give us a call at 618-467-9999. Order online, get it catered, or stop by for the best smoked meats around. Where great flavors meet family tradition, you'll find Carver's Barbecue.
Have a rash, pink eye, or urinary tract infection and need care now? OSF On-Call Urgent Care is here to treat you. Start a virtual visit 24/7, whenever and wherever you need it. It's just that easy. osfoncall.org/virtual visit.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Show on this Monday morning. All right, I told you I bought something in an interview. I'm just gonna break the ice now.
Okay.
Mooneyham Arts.
Yeah, Mooneyham Art.
I don't know why I did art.
Yeah. So basically, Mooneyham Art it's not an artist collective. It is a curated gallery space. I am creating an environment for intermediate emerging artists to be able to show with regional, national, and international artists. While I spent the last 20 years, running off trying to save the world, the rest of my friends were out becoming, famous artists and rock stars. And it's like, so now I'm back to the arts, and they're like, come on, Charles, catch up. Where have you been, bro? And then I'm like, I call up some of my friends. I'm like, you remember when we did that show in 1990? You kind of owe me a favor. So, I'm going to call in some favors, right? So my current international artist is that Craig Downs gentleman I told you about, who is currently putting together the Wall Together project. And he does that all over the country, and he shows all over, and he's done wine labels, hospitals. And then, I'll find emerging local talent that is exceptionally talented. Yeah. So like Natalie Wellborn out of Godfrey. We got Rhonda Willman out of Brighton. We've got Mary Berry from Jersey County. And what I'm doing is I'm taking my platform, and I'm taking emerging artists with exceptional talent and pairing them in exhibits next to national and international artists, because it's kind of an incubator for their careers to launch them forward. They might not otherwise have an opportunity this early in their career to show with some of these names, and let alone do it in a more rural community. Yeah. And it's kind of like when they did like that Jim Henson exhibit. They didn't put that in New York or Chicago, where they could have. Right. They put it in a small town, and the museum that held that exhibit, they were like, this was the largest event we've ever had in history. And I think that's key right now, because often at times these rural communities are often what's overlooked. In budgeting, access to care, cultural enrichment. Well,
you're right. And I think that sometimes, especially when it comes to the cultural enrichment, whether or not it's, entertainment or, music, art, it all falls in the same category. But a lot of times, like, you're right, people will live for that. Like, if you know that, hey, John Smith is investing, in the town to bring this really great event coming together. It's going to be a weekend of art, or it's going to be a weekend of live music, or it's going to be a couple of nights of just, shopping experiences. People are going to come out for that, especially in communities like you said. They don't get that very often. often.
Exactly.
It's so important. Well, so you saw the spot on State Street. It was a quick turnaround. I know that.
Yeah.
Was it just one of those things where you saw it and said, let's go ahead and do it? Or what was that final conversation?
Well, what had happened was, after I had got done with the expo, I was helping out the Jacoby Arts Center. They were going to paint their floors, and I was like, no, don't paint the floors. So I was like, rent the sanders, and I'll do it. And I'm thinking, because I just got done with this event, I'm producing another event, and I'm moving next door. So of course, let's refinish some floors while we're at it. And the funny thing about it is, the last time I did floors, I was like 30 years old. Okay, I'm going to be 50 this year.
No kidding.
Yeah. So
man, how do I learn your secrets? I'm 25, and I got a lot of. I'm like a Honda Accord, a lot of city miles, and it's showing.
Yeah, well, I mean, but it'll turn 300. So. It's a Honda Accord. That's right. Come on. It is definitely not a Kia.
That's right.
But, so anyway, I started sanding their floors, redoing their floors, and I was like looking for a space, and I emailed Rachel, and then Rachel emailed Sarah, and then Sarah got a hold of me and said, I know a place that would be perfect. And it's right across the street from the new Jacoby, which was great. And then you got Bluff City Bazaar right around the corner. Yeah. There's another gallery getting ready to open up in Alton. It's super top secret. Nobody knows about yet, but they just signed a lease on a space. It's going to be more of a photography gallery.
That's cool.
Which, how many photographers are Alton, for crying out loud? And there's no photography gallery. Come on.
That doesn't make sense.
And then I got in touch with the landlord, and he loved my vision and what I'm trying to do. And I moved into the space. Originally, I was going to take both, but then I just decided to take the one side for now, just to kind of let the dust settle, because it's been a busy year. So I started building out the space in between doing all the other things, and it got to the point to where I was down to the last coat that needed to go on the floor, and Rachel's like, Charles, I think you're going to fall down. We'll take care of the last coat. And I'm like, thank you, because I'm like trying to get my store open. So it's like, thank you. I think it was like, Charles is turning pale. What's going on? So I have direct thanks to the Jacoby Art Center and Sarah McGibney from What's Up Alton Main Street for helping me find the space, and I've gotten tons of community support. It's been fantastic.
Well, it's just cool to see that, and really just to hear your story too a little bit more and get to know you. And that's why I like having these conversations, and we're doing the small business spotlights this next couple of months, because it's good to meet the people that are behind it, and no one's ever going to know unless we talk about it. Just the community side of things, like helping Jacoby with the floors, and having that collaboration with Sarah and Rachel and Centerstone and all these different pieces. It makes it such a, I think, not more important, because it always is important, but I think it puts a bigger spotlight on all the pieces of a puzzle that it takes to truly get something to go. And just to hear that is really fascinating.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's like the thing that's I think the reason why it's finally all coming together and it's finally working, because I know a lot of these pioneers in Alton have been swinging an uphill battle this whole way. And now all of a sudden it's finally starting to work. And I think it comes right back to community, because we're all willing to play together now. Yeah. We're helping each other, and community lifts a society up.
You have to be the tide.
Exactly.
Well, because we're running out of time a little bit, let's go through the hours of operate. When can we come in and see you? How does this work?
Oh, certainly. I am open Thursday through Sunday. I open up at noon every day. I stay open late depending on what's going on in the city. I'm open late for night markets. Every 6 to 8 weeks, I'll be producing artist receptions, which are free to the public. The first one is July 5th from 5 to 9. To be artist Marty McKay and her iconic eagle photographs.
She is the best, isn't she, at taking those?
Oh, definitely. And then the David Bailey, the sculptor who's hiding in the woods back there. If you've ever driven through Alton and you see these random giant sculptures, I found him. And
no way!
And we're going to try to get him placed throughout the city. Which is something that I know that Sarah's been working on too. And he's also a phenomenal jeweler, so I'm also now carrying his sterling silver high-end jewelry in the gallery as well. So he will be the other featured artist July 5th, and that reception's from 5 to 9, and we'll have free pastries, free beverages.
This is so cool.
Yeah.
It's just amazing because, we at the show, I go in to talk to different youth groups and stuff that I do sometimes, and it's always just trying to express to them and stress that Alton has all these really cool things. The Riverbend region has the things that you're looking for elsewhere, and it's good now to see this kind kind of wave of momentum for them. And whether it's in arts or entertainment and culture, or if it's just in what they want to do in business, it's all coming together. And I think it's going to retain the younger people, and these initiatives and these events that you're putting on help with that immensely.
Well, I think the important thing is I think that our local government is starting to realize, of course, sports brings a lot of tourism in, and we need to talk about that because, it's what brings, the money to the community. Yeah. But second to tourism is art.
100%.
I mean,
100%. There's no argument
sports,
with it.
Second to that is,
And I think it goes hand in hand because I think you can't really have a successful city with only having one of the two. I think you have to have both.
Yeah.
Well, and now going forward, what's your plans for the summer? Is there anything that's on your mind when it comes to, I know you're wanting to bring the Art Expo. Is that a next year thing for you?
Well, the Art Expo will be next year, and thank you for that wonderful segue. So you've got this amazing parking lot attached to the building that is also my studio. It would, after you guys are closed, it's empty. It would be really nice if I could start, maybe producing, some art events in the Riverbender parking lot and maybe team up with you guys.
That'd be cool. We have to get you connected to the building owners.
Yeah.
John and Mark, we'll get you connected with them. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
And see, that's what I think is so, we talk to business owners that have been here for 40 years and all that, and hearing how the old school way of doing things, of working together and being a team, it's coming back. It's so cool. And Charles, before I let you go, what's the best way to stay up to date on all the information you have? I know you have a Facebook and a website.
Yes, certainly.
What's the most updated?
Probably the easiest thing to do would be to go to the website, because the website is landing on the brand. It'll take you everywhere.
Yep.
So mooneyhamart.com. And you can click the Facebook link. There is a upcoming show list, as well as information about the expo, as well as a little bit of everything, really. And that'll take you to our Facebook page, where you can always follow us, and that is updated daily.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Hey, thanks for having me so much.
Well, anytime you want to come back on, please feel free to do so.
Oh, excellent.
We're out of time. Damn, it's 11 o'clock. I will see you back here live at 9 for more of our daily show tomorrow. Until then, only one rule: try your best to stay out of jail.
He once knew, oh yes he did, he said he would.